back to the Trailer Park News here on the 2nd Street Marvel. It is Monday, July 15th, 2019. I'm your host, Trinity, coming back at you with some movie news and comic previews. Now, in case you haven't been paying attention, Spider-Man Far From Home is now out at movie theaters, and there's a lot of people going to see it. Did you go see it? What did you think about it? I just got a chance to go see it for the second time this past weekend, and I've been waiting to do my spoiler review on it, just because I wanted to wait until I actually seen it a second time so I could get a little bit better feelings about the movie, because after watching it the first time, I did have new movie-itis, and after the second time I noticed, yeah, this movie did require a second watching for me to fully decide how I felt about this movie. The movie isn't terrible, it's a very good and entertaining film. You should probably go check it out if you're the slightest bit interested or are a Spider-Man fan. Now, as we all know, this MCU Spider-Man, it's a little bit different than our classic Peter Parker and Spider-Man story. We haven't had no Uncle Ben or anything like that, and you know, that obviously continues in this movie. But I've got to say, overall, I really did like this movie. It was very entertaining. It kind of takes where Spider-Man Homecoming came from and goes a little bit farther, but a little bit differently. And I'll discuss more of that in a spoiler review that I will be doing. I'm not sure if it'll be later this week, man. I'm really busy doing a bunch of miles right now on my bicycle for that Tour de France challenge that I've been telling you all about. Now, in other movie news, there is, of course, more controversy going on, as we've seen more stories going on, you know, with rumors about Brie Larson coming to Star Wars, Lashana Lynch being the new 007, and even some comments made by Scarlett Johansson that were, you know, once again conveniently taken out of context and delivered, you know, just cherry-picked to create headlines. And, of course, everybody seems to have something to say about it. Now, the thing about Brie Larson, the Star Wars fan, you know, it's whatever. You know, she's an actor or an actress, and, you know, she's gonna possibly get roles. You know, it happens. The next thing is this 007 with Lashana Lynch taking it over. A lot of people now obviously have feelings about it. Me, I'm a James Bond fan. I've actually missed out on the last two films, so if I actually went to go see this film, I've got a couple of films that I've got to catch up on anyway. But I don't know, how do you guys feel about that? Let me know down in the comments below. You know, they're obviously always doing things to make changes in these movies these days, something to kind of spice it up and keep it interesting. But who's to say at the end of this movie that James Bond don't come back and take his title back and say, you know what, I'm 007. Because that's how he talks anyway. I go watch movies just because I'm a film geek, you know. I just like watching movies. So yeah, that's about all I really got to say about that. But that new Hobbs and Shaw, man, that Fast and Furious, they're trying to suck me back into that franchise. Anyway, moving on in comic books this week, in case you haven't been paying attention over here, there are some notable things coming out. You know, I noticed that it looks like Image Comics is releasing a lot of books this week, and hey, that's a pretty good thing. You know, they're a smaller indie publisher, and they've apparently got some good books. I haven't read any Image books yet, but I actually picked up Reaver last week, but I haven't read it yet. So that's why I'm saying I haven't read any Image Comics yet. But let me know down in the comments below, what's an Image comic that you guys like? I know one thing that was suggested to me by one of my viewers was Infinite Dark. I've heard that one was a pretty good one. But also in other comic books, there are The Year of the Villain is continuing over at DC Comics. And also in Marvel Comics, we are getting ready and gearing up for the House of X and Powers of X. And that's showing this week, where Uncanny X-Men is finally coming to an end, and I believe X-Force is coming to an end as well. So, you know, just some things that are getting ready to go bye-bye. But did you guys see that variant cover for the Captain Marvel, that Venomized cover? It looks pretty legit. I may pick that up, but of course that is a Lee Inyuk cover, so it's something that looks pretty badass. And speaking of looking pretty awesome, did you see that cover for Vampirella? There was an Alex Ross cover of Vampirella that's going to be coming out, and if I find that at my local comic book shop, I can guarantee you I'm going to pick it up because it looks pretty badass. There's also a new series coming out it's on an indie publisher called, God, is it called Ex-Liefelds? And it looks like they're kind of playing on a bunch of characters that like Rob Liefeld made and everything. It looks pretty funny. If they had that at my comic book shop, I'll probably pick that up. But the one thing I do want to tell you guys that is definitely coming out, and I'm so happy it's coming out, I can't wait for this book every single time it comes out, is Neon Future issue number 5. That's right. Issue number 5 is getting ready to come out this week. I can't wait to read this book. I've really liked this series. It's from a small indie publisher. They've only got this one book out there, Impact Theory Comics. It's been a great book so far. Like I've said before, it kind of follows all the typical kind of cyberpunk tropes and everything, but you know what? I like it. It's actually pretty good, and I think the folks over at Impact Theory have something new to offer us. Now, San Diego Comic-Con is this week. I've never been to a Comic-Con. I would love to go to this one, especially because this issue of Neon Future is actually going to be, they're going to have a special cover, you know, for San Diego Comic-Con only there. So I wish I could go to San Diego Comic-Con just so I could get that issue. That would be like the only thing I'd buy if I went there anyway. Probably because it'd be the only thing I could afford if I could afford a damn ticket to get into the place, right? Anyway, that's all I've got for this video. Thank you all so much for tuning in to the Trailer Park News today. Let me know down in the comments below what you think about some of these things that we're talking about today, and what is on your pull list. And make sure you tune in this Wednesday to my comic book pull list that I drop every single week, where you get to see the comic books that I brought home from the comic shop. And also, make sure you tune in Friday to the Trailer Park Live, where I typically go over some of the comic books that I pulled for the week, and then I get in there and talk with you all in the live chats as we talk about some of the movie rumors that have happened for the week. It's always a good time every single time you guys show up for that show. You guys are what make that show the Trailer Park Live. Thank you all so much for tuning into the Trailer Park News today. You all have a very good day, and we'll see you in the next video.